Hello and welcome to today's. I think I'm centered now. Yes. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Taylor's Takes. This is my series of album reviews of Taylor Swift. Uh, just on the first one, thank you for. Let's forget that, shall we? We've done the eponymous, otherwise known as the Taylor Swift album, Taylor Swift from 2006. So we'll try and make this. I've got notes and a friendship bracelet that I was given. Just want to point out, for those of you who feel that I have somehow lost my look. All I'm saying is, it's not that I don't play with Space Marines. It's not that I don't still watch genre films. You will still see those, but at the end of the day, um, I've been working on a Taylor Swift thing as a day job. Woman's given me a job, okay? First off. Secondly, I spent 8 years in a comic shop. No one gave me a friendship bracelet, right? I spent less than 1 week working on a Taylor Swift exhibition. I get a friendship bracelet and a lanyard thing that another fan gave me. You've not given me a friend. I don't want one now. I don't need one that says blood for the blood. It's a bit late. It's implying that I've asked you for one. It is given. Fearless, released in 2008. Taylor is now at this point 19 years old. Music has developed, and you can hear that within the songs themselves. It's moved, still got a lot of string, um, but I would say you can feel that it's reminiscent. And also, I'm really beginning to see in terms of where I was, 2008, I just did a show called The Dark Knight Returns in Edinburgh. So this is pretty much professional high point for me. In many ways, you can see that this is the difficult second album that actually comes across quite easily for her. What high point show? The Dark Knight Returns. Things are going okay. I've just got a new job, so that's going well. Only thing that's not going well is, ironically, dating. Relationships took a massive pummeling of comedy versus being a normal person. Succinctly put, uh, we don't spend enough time discussing where we want to go. You need to stop doing this. Which I said, we can wait to have this conversation after I've done my 3 week run. So, perspective was definitely there for me. I was beautiful once. Shut up. Point is that sort of commercial success doesn't always pan out in the same way. Taylor's album Fearless does go through some peaks and troughs, and I would say people who go, "Oh, Taylor Swift's just writing for 15-year-old girls," yeah, right, good, because you know what, they need something to listen to, and you were 15 once. Maybe you were a 15-year-old girl, but the point is, you were 15 once. So those vibes are universal. It doesn't matter about all of this. Emotions, complexity, maturity doesn't really change when you're 15, as she describes in her song, surprisingly enough, called 15. It does have that awkward moment of like being a third year at a university complaining about freshers. Yes, yet there is a scope within the song that reminds me of those sorts of little baroque vignettes that you would get in Let Your Dim Light Shine by Soul Asylum. Again, an album that, people of me, 48-year-old man, always lead into what you are. If you can't see the resonance or the parallels in that, then you're lying and you're doing it out of some insecurity. Dan, not everything has to be about you and your emotional stuff. Now, okay, right. Um, I am having difficulty reading this because the lighting, but we need to do that because my face. You dim light shines. Now, there's also You Belong With Me. I really wanted to touch on this one. It is, and what I realized as I'm listening to this more, I'm trying to think about where I was when I was Taylor's age, as well as where I was when these albums were released. And You Belong With Me is such a solid take on Teenage Dirtbag. And Teenage Dirtbag, I even heard it being played as Muzak very, very recently in a prayer. It's just such Na, 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 na. You Belong With Me has got every motif there, even that slightly um I'm gonna say Twilighty. Apparently it's okay to stalk a partner if you've got fangs or a cape. But that's still there. But again, this is 2008, and this is about that baroque fantasy. All I'm saying is, Taylor Swift, you just leave my back door alone and just move on. But it's that underdog, just a girl elements of there. And you know what? It really works for that. Now, Love Story is her attempt to reboot Romeo and Juliet, literally with a happier ending. Now, my first thoughts on this is preposterous. This is audacious. No, 18-year-old has the right to think that they can rewrite Shakespeare and improve it. But then I actually remember that it is not the right, and I am right in that sense, for any 18-year-old to feel that they can improve the works of the classics and somehow imbue them and make them better. In fact, what it is for any 18-year-old who's daft enough to be watching this, I mean, it's not your right. It's not your right to say what Shakespeare shouldn't have said or should have said, or how someone should have done this or how someone should have wrote that for your feelings in your contemporary times. It is, in fact, your duty. It is your duty as a teenager to criticize and condemn everything that's come before. With your impassioned, eclectic, electric self, every wattage of your heart should be filled with righteous condemnation of everything around you, as it should bend to your will and then cry when it doesn't. Not because that I believe that you are the vision of the future. I just think that that is an important part of your process, and sharing that is the only way that's ever going to happen in the increments of progress itself. So, and it's got some good riffs in it. That's what I'm gonna on that. Do I believe? No, no. I mean, you're talking about 15-year-olds, Taylor Swift. Like Romeo's what, 12 or something? Touching on reboots, though, White Horse is still my favorite. White Horse is still my favorite. It is the simple fact of FU2. I don't need this. And again, those who want to dismiss it as sort of chick lit, the thing, do think very carefully about the fact that when you were in the 90s as a guy, did you spend your time trying to play the squirrely guitar riffs where the music video was frankly a man who was crying over the coffin of his girlfriend, the woman who his girlfriend who's in that coffin because she walked in and saw a video of him fucking her younger sister, so he's crying while holding the hand of said younger sister, but that's okay. Well, no, it's all of that is grim. It was just off then, and it's grim now. And being called on your shit is again just part of life. I've always considered myself not so much feminist as feminist adjacent, which is basically women confident enough to slap my face into some accountability. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So to conclude, because I can't read my The Way I Loved You had some great tunes itself as well. So to conclude, there is a move here. I do feel The Way I Loved You had a bit of a White Stripes intro. There's elements, it's Rust Belt still, but it is blue collar in a sense. People who made me think of Four Non Blondes, Von der Shepherd, White Stripes, Vitas, Bowling for Soup. Even Kate Bush and a bit of Annie Lennox is in there. In terms of the oeuvre, that is the 2008, and bear in mind, Teenager on her second album when I was 1 year into doing comedy. Um, I would say it's definitely more focused. I think she's getting a real sense of not just who she is, but a bit more reflection, a bit more craft. Um, I don't like using the word polish because that implies external affairs. I do think that this is her being more succinct in expressing herself. And of the two, I would say this is the more somber album. Maybe it's slightly bit darker, and I'm really looking forward to finding out what's in the third. So I hope that has helped you. I am trouble, apparently, according to this. Don't forget to pop by the Victoria and Albert Museum. Fearless is it's top 67. I missed the Romeo and Juliet bit because it's on the balcony and I'd walked underneath it and then I directed someone wrong. But you will find a big shimmer suit. It's a bit gozer and the purple mini dress there as well in the Raphael cartoon rooms. So do check those out. One, two, and three up on the balcony if you're watching this before September 9th. Thank you. And you know what to do, Tom.